Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is our Rice News analyst, Emmanuel Efeni.
Good morning, Ruben.
Great Malabite.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, sir.
Rufai without L.
Okay.
Now, let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Of course, the window story there. Geregu makes history, becomes first power company to list on stock exchange. Gains 10% on first trading day or $10 listing will ensure companies' long-term world-class standard in governance, that's corporate governance, and best practices. Yes, the first power company to be listed, capturing history there. This day, reporting that on its window, as we call it. Now, below the masthead, 12 days after unceremoniously leaving for London, Tinubu returns today. Yes, I'm sure many within and outside the APC will be angling to see the presidential candidate as he returns today. Now, the lead story, Buhari, Nigerians owe our military debt of gratitude as remaining 23 trained victims are freed, urges security agencies to sustain momentum. Defense headquarters gives details of victims' rescue, how Mamu's arrest may have aided safe operation. Yes, for these released victims, clearly all is well that ends well. They did not die in the kidnappers' den. Some have died in other kidnapping incidents in kidnappers' den. Even when families pay ransom, they only find the dead bodies of their relatives. But for these victims and their families, all is well that ends well. There is happiness. But I will not be overtly effusive about the praise the president is showering, because clearly there are still many Nigerians who are in captivity. Talking about recent kidnappings before and after the train incident, and until every Nigerian in captivity comes out alive, I will not be overtly effusive about praising anybody. Yes, we commend the military. They have upped their game since they were given unfettered freedom to go after bandits and terrorists. Why they were not given that freedom all the while is a question we'll continue to ask, because Nigerians have died because the military were not given freedom, until the president told us that he has given them full freedom to go after terrorists. But we're happy, we celebrate with the families who have received their loved ones alive. Of course, post-traumatic stress disorder, thanks goodness that the president's wife and the wives of other military men are championing this. These victims who have just come out should be given all the necessary attention, medical, psychological. But for those families who paid 100 million to release their captives, many of them will still be in, of course, they must have borrowed money from here and there to secure the release of their loved ones. But until every Nigerian in captivity, in kidnappers' den, come out alive, I won't be praising the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari or even the military so effusively. Now, let's move on to other stories. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper has a story, how 23 remaining abducted Kaduna train passengers were released. Families excited how negotiations sealed deal, negotiators sealed deal. NRC to unveil plan on train service resumption. Yes, in as much as we know that train route cannot be off forever. When you reopen that route, we want to see the kind of security that has been provided so that Nigerians can travel with peace of mind, without fear that something will happen again. And indeed, nothing should happen again on that route. Now we look at the Nation newspaper, APC National Working Committee, PCC, Presidential Campaign Council, governors, PCC members unite for Tinubu. Flag bearer returns today. Southeast APC women hold rally in Owerri. Onaikon, ruling party chose same-faith ticket as winning strategy. That's what the Nation is reporting. But if we look at the Vanguard newspaper, if we look at the story below the photograph, same faith candidacy, same Onaiko quoted in Nation being quoted here. Catholic Church is non-partisan, but I won't vote for APC. Cardinal Oyeko says ruling party has to accept responsibility for its decision, describes Governor Lalong's acceptance of campaign DG as political. Now, but the lead story, the Arewa Consultative Forum, 2023 polls of great concern to us, warns politicians against thuggery, rigging to meet presidential candidates. Says insecurity, Nigeria's biggest tragedy, tax federal government on flooding, others. The Daily Sun newspaper, 2023, INEC to deploy undercover security agents at polling units. Restates ban on use of mobile phones during voting. Yes, a lot depends on INEC, especially this issue of vote buying. We urge INEC to ensure that the cubicle is using this time around is not one that somebody can still have eye contact or whatever with those who pay for votes. Yes, what will these undercover agents do? Will they be arresting those who are paying for votes around the polling booths? But if we ensure that you cannot take your phone into the cubicle to snap what you have voted, there's no way you can show what you have voted to anybody, I'm sure will be also frustrating those who are bent on buying votes on election day. So INEC, a lot depends on INEC, the umpire, to ensure that vote buyers don't find it easy also. Now, the Punch newspaper, INEC governorship list, litigation kicks 14 APC PDP LP candidates out. Parties face court cases in Ebonyi, Akwa Ibom, Enugu, 6 others. Commission okay's Sanwo-Olu, Abiodun, Makinde, 834 others. Senate confirms 19 recs. Atiku Okowa in Bauchi receives defectors. While the Vanguard newspaper, APC will determine when to flag off campaigns. Adamu, as party governors pass vote of confidence on Tinubu, Adamu, PCC. The Guardian newspaper, regulation policy frustrate 14,120 megawatts hydropower. $7.1 billion hydropower, a mirage as stakeholders kick against borrowing. Nation's electricity emission worries experts amid energy transition. Buhari's electricity infrastructure expansion to serve Abuja for 50 years, says federal government. for 1,465 megawatts transmission line, 870 megawatts transformers to be commissioned in December, says TCN boss. Yes, a lot happening in the electricity sector. Now, the Business Day newspaper, Nigeria's 2023 budget threatened as OPEC Plus makes big oil cut. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, including Russia, have agreed to cut production by 2 million barrels per day after the meeting they had in Vienna yesterday. Now, what does that mean for Nigeria? We've not been able to meet our quota. What is the quota Nigeria will be producing now when oil price go up, as we expect it to do after this cut? Ruben and Rufai, will Nigeria be benefiting? We have not been benefiting from the windfall from the Russia-Ukraine war.
We've not been benefiting. And you see, it's very sad. You see, and that's why when people come on television to make all sorts of very funny arguments that I like to say in quotes, wuru-wuru arguments, it's quite shocking. Wars have always benefited Nigeria.
Yeah, the Gulf War windfall.
The Yom Kippur War first in 73. Crude oil price rose from $3 per barrel to $12 per barrel. Nigeria became so rich that led to inflation. There was so much money and circulation in the system that we had money to be able to pay the Udoji Commission money. That now further even jacked up inflation. Those were the years that Gowon said the problem is not money but how to spend it.
And we're paying salaries of some Caribbean countries.
And we're paying salaries of some Caribbean countries. Yeah. Then we had the Gulf War. It was another windfall for Nigeria. Then now they are telling us that this Ukraine crisis is a problem. How? It doesn't make economic sense. When you make argument, and still in the same Africa, because you see, when people lie, my dad would always tell me this as a child, Rufai, lies have short legs, because before you know, they will bust your lie. Look at Angola. Angola's Kwanza is one of the strongest currencies of the African continent. It's gained about 20% against the US dollar. It is buoyed by strong oil revenues. Guess what? Angola had been in recession for a while. As the Ukraine crisis came, they started to move out of recession. So if the Ukraine crisis can help Angola quickly move out of a recession, why has it not buoyed Nigeria's economic prospects? Because we've done a lot of things that are wrong over the years. We've not invested in our oil fields, regulatory framework problem, there's crude oil theft. Imagine, look at this incident with the NNPC, and they said they don't know that there was a 4-kilometer pipeline.
Robert, let the guests wait. Let me make these comments.
God bless you, Dr.
Robert, there are some other issues that I want to talk about. Now, the first one has to do with this OPEC meeting in Vienna yesterday. First time that, OPEC Plus will be meeting in person. And the decision that was taken to cut production by 2 million barrels. The meeting lasted just about 30 minutes to take that decision, which means that OPEC Plus had decided to say this is how we want to go. Now, the energy minister of Saudi Arabia says the objective is to increase long-term investment and to also stabilize prices. But there are geopolitical implications. There are also economic implications. One, as for Nigeria doesn't benefit from anything that other countries are benefiting from. There is, oil companies are making a kill. We can't even meet our production quota. So out of that 2 million barrels cut, many of the members of OPEC cannot even meet their quota. That is the reality. And our quota, we're not meeting our quota. And we also have the challenge of crude oil theft. So we're not going to make any advantage out of it. Two, it's a major blow to the White House, to President Biden.
Director just put on
who is facing
the FT up there, the Financial Times.
Can I finish? The White House, President Biden, who is facing midterm elections, and who 3 months ago went to talk to the Saudi Arabians, to increase production instead of cutting. So now the US and other countries, their Western allies, they are saying, look, what Saudi Arabia and OPEC Plus, what they have done, will amount to an alignment with Russia. Because in the face of galloping inflation, what will happen is that the pump price of fuel will go up. So, and that will affect us here in Nigeria, where the refineries are not working.
Where
so
we maybe all our products.
Maybe we will pay more at the pump. And will government still sustain the subsidy beyond June next year? So all of these, are issues that affect us. That's number one. Number two, I wanted to raise the issue about flooding. After the release of water from the Lagdo Dam by the Cameroonians, the whole of Nasarawa is submerged. The whole of Kogi State, half of Kogi State is submerged. The River Niger and the River Benue have overflowed their banks. So two things. We have climate change that we are not dealing with.
In Delta, many communities are taken by
the second
in Anambra, many communities were taken.
The second thing is that we are not prepared, and the consequences are serious. I saw on, was it Instagram yesterday, Ade Adefeko, the Vice President External Relations and Stakeholder Management of Olam Agric, lamenting that over 4,400 hectares of rice planted by Olam Agric in Nasarawa State wiped out by flood. In fact, the entire farm was submerged. And Olam Agric is a major stakeholder in this. But every year, we just talk about climate change. We go to the United Nations General Assembly, we talk about climate change. We even have a National Council on Climate Change that has been set up. But every year we lament. And the issue of these Cameroonians releasing water from their dam and causing damage in Nigeria, nobody has given it any serious thought. What the Cameroonians will tell you, they've been telling us since 2012, is that Nigeria has not done its own part. So why will people in Kogi, Nasarawa, Anambra, elsewhere be suffering? The price of rice is likely to go up because with Olam farm losing about 4,000 hectares, that's a problem. The final issue I want to raise, which I saw in the papers, is the crisis at Obajana Cement Factory yesterday. I saw a statement by the Commissioner for Information of Kogi State, even congratulating hoodlums. So it's very controversial because you will have expected that, look, the community leaders are saying we don't have a problem with Obajana Cement. Obajana Cement creates jobs. The state government, the State House of Assembly is saying that the company should be sealed off. I hope that the relevant authorities will look into that so that you don't cut your nose
to spite your face.
So, Emmanuel Ifeni, these are some of the issues. As for the people that were released, I agree with you. I said earlier that there are more questions than answers. What exactly did government do? But we'll get more details when the family members and the victims themselves begin to speak up. I don't think we've had the last of the story. We have heard from the government side, but it will be good to hear from the affected persons too. So thank you, Emmanuel Ifeni.